Hey, we're live.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi there.
Anybody? Yeah. So, welcome, welcome. This is Nancy B, and over here is Coral Lee, and she's hopping on in our group today to give us her perspective of joining the Freedom Era business and what it's done for her life. Coral and I met, I guess, in our local community. And I have to embarrassingly say, I don't ever remember meeting you.
Maybe we were there today.
It could have been a community wellness talk, and a lot of towards the end of the time that I was involved with them, I didn't show up a lot because I was moving on to other things. So I may have met you and totally spaced it, but I don't remember. I just remember being um, just seeing you move to the community, do your mountain mama thing, and just be out there, which I thought was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first like birthing of a business that was like, ooh, this is light and fun and I'm excited to work on it and like I want to talk about it all the time. And that was a mom's fitness group um, that's still going actually, which is really cool.
That is so cool. That's really
Even though
cool.
I just moved to Hawaii and then moved to Tahoe and then now I'm back and I mean it's not going right now with COVID, but it
Yeah.
has been.
So you've really created a laptop lifestyle business.
Yeah, absolutely. I could live anywhere. And then it's funny because before COVID, I still had things that would tie me down kind of to wherever we were in the community, like my daughter's school and teaching yoga at the gym and personal training or whatever else I was also doing and
Mm-hmm.
commitments that I had. But then when everything locked down, I kind of was like, "Ooh, now I'm like, my tether's gone." And even with school too, we're homeschooling this year, and I'm like, it's kind of cool because I truly can have the laptop lifestyle if I wanted to go work in Mexico or something like that. But,
That's so cool. I don't think I could uproot my family that easily. Unfortunately, I would like to, but I don't think I could uproot them that easily. So, besides, kind of going into this, do you want to share anything else about your background before you got into the business, before you got into the Freedom Era or said yes to online?
sure, yeah. So I grew up in Quincy, which is close to where Nancy lives, and lived there my whole life. But my parents took me traveling a lot, so I had a very worldly perspective. And in high school, I was actually voted most likely to succeed because I was really smart and I was like top of my class. But I didn't really have the same definition of success as like what most people might. People are like, oh, you could be a doctor, you could be a like I looked into engineering, you could be a whatever, a lawyer, you could be anything. And I more looked at like, okay, but like what lifestyle do I want to have?
Mm,
Because just because I might have brains to do this or that or whatever, like who actually has a career that I would like? And I couldn't find anything that looked appealing, honestly. I job shadowed. I was like, I was in college trying to pick my major, and I was like, what? Like, whose life do I want?
right.
And I had said when I was little, I always wanted to be a writer. So I was like, well, maybe I'll go into writing, like English, but I ended up going more the math train and didn't really know actually what I was going to do with my degree. But then I kept just searching for, okay, like I was a mom right after college, so I didn't go straight into like a workforce of any point. And I was waitressing when I needed to because that was really good money, good bang for my buck in terms of hours put in. And my husband kept asking me, he was like, what's your passion? Like, what's your career? Like, you can't just be waitressing forever. I know, but that's not you. And I kept saying, I don't know. I haven't found it yet. I haven't found it yet. I haven't found it yet. And it was almost like it barely existed. And I didn't know that the career that I wanted existed. And that was honestly to be able to have an online brand and have learn the skills to make money from my messaging and myself and not be reliant on anything else. And when I watched Kelly, who Nancy knows, she and I were roommates in, when I was finishing up college, and she was living in Santa Cruz, and we were so different then. And I watched this journey from her going into the online coaching world, and I was like, whoa, like that she's onto something that really, really magnetizes me. And so I started following her journey, and this is like shortly after I started Mountain Mamas, I started online health coaching and just started diving into that world. And the online space felt like it felt like a new universe where it was like you can expand and get as big as you want, but like knowing how to do that is like nebulous.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's kind of like a bit about where I was. Although right before I joined the Freedom Era, I actually watched Kelly go through this journey and talk so much about the community and the business model that they were using in there. And because I respected her as a business owner and as a person, I was like, if she thinks it's cool, then it's worth checking out. And I never looked back. There was a lot of impact that I felt like I could have with health coaching, and I felt that. But then on the other end of it was like wearing all the hats in my business and being a solopreneur and only making money if I was driving it, which created a lot of effort and like just a lot of back end stuff. So when I saw the automation and the ease and the fun involved in being a part of the Freedom Era, and then also a really sustainable long-term like retirement income potential, like very easy to see how that would work if you just stick with it. I'm like, why would I go work for someone else to pay into a retirement when I could like spend, even if it took me 30 years to get to the place where I have residual income? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's a career, which it won't take that long, but
yeah,
even if it did, I'd be fine.
Yeah, it's really amazing how fast people can create the retirement or some kind of residual income coming from just learning the skills of being online. Do you feel like what you're receiving from the Freedom Era is anything different than what you were doing before, or easier, or the education's better, or can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, from when I was doing health coaching or from like other platforms?
You choose.
Everything about the education is amazing. But so when I first broke into the online space, it was like follow one person who has success and learn what worked for them. And that only works for some people. And everybody is going to operate differently, and success is going to be found differently from different personalities. And the way one person works the online space might work for them, but them charging, thousands and thousands of dollars to say what worked for them, when it might not work for you, it's like these rabbit holes almost, or these like things you can go down that if you're really not tuned into your intuition and what's going to work for you, you could invest a whole lot into coaching and all of that in the online space and have no results. And I see that happen a lot with people. So with the Freedom Era, it's like, there are so many, and at such a low price point, there are so many people sharing what's worked for them very openly, very directly, very like vulnerably. And you can kind of pick who to model. And it is a lot about modeling what works. And that's not at all copying anyone. It's all about still being original, but like you find someone who has reached the success that you desire, and then you openly just like say, okay, I want to learn everything you have to say, and you binge on their content, and you go to their personal Facebook page and you binge on that content. Like, you get to know these people. That's really cool because you have access to a lot more success stories than you would in just one coaching program.
Yeah.
And in terms of, it's like, okay, so the analogy of the online space is like a new universe. Well, being in the Freedom Era is kind of like being inside of a spaceship where people know what's going on, and like they know where they're headed, and like you're you're a part of the community, and like there's parties and like there's other people that are on the same journey as you. Whereas being a solopreneur in, whatever it is, creating e-courses and health coaching and, other people do life coaching and healing sessions and anything that's kind of just like a one-off thing that you offer by yourself. It feels a lot more like you're in your own private ship and you're like trying to find other colonies and you're like, what works for them?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of chasing. It feels like when you're working on your own, as of, being in a community with lots of different teachers, lots of different mentors, lots of people who have success and are doing it themselves. It almost gives you that permission to like, okay, well, how is it going to work for me? And can I just keep, how do I get to make it work for me, or how do I get to do it? So it's a reflection of me. That's one of the really cool things I think about it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Do
you have a part of being part of the Freedom Era? Do you have a favorite part? Is it the personal development, the community, the skills that are being taught, the physical health, or your smaller team that you like the best, or is it all encompassing?
Now I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of this question. Everybody struggles with this question because precisely you say this. So all of the above, absolutely 100% all of the above. What stands out most for me is leadership. So being able to step into the leader model within our own team, within my team. I really, really, really enjoy that. Like it fulfills me showing up for things and supporting but finding that balance of like, what do I like in other leaders and what do I not like in other leaders, and how to embody that like for myself, because I attract a lot of people that are like me and they attract people like me too, even though everyone's so different on our team, right? But we have a lot of the same values, which is really cool. And then I think the simplicity of the business model, the like, do this first, then do this, and this is what to focus on, this is what to work on, and only getting to narrow laser focus myself on like just the few things, because all the back end stuff is already built. So, that's really cool to me. That's like, I was talking to someone who, she's a coach and like she has a business partner, and we related on the fact that we both have like fun business partners that we love. And she's like, oh, like, do you have a hard time finding clients? And I was like, actually, I don't really take on clients because I can't be doing calls all the time. Like it drains me and my energy and how I am. And she's like, what? Like, so she was like, so do you hop on sales calls to like close deals? Because I told her I have commission-based earning. And I was like, no, sometimes I do, like in different seasons of my business, but that's really draining for me too. I like, I use our automated system to like tip and compensate people who love doing sales and love to hop on sales calls. And that's part of it because it's not my zone of genius. And she was like, whoa, that's crazy. And anyways, that was a long roundabout way of saying that I love having the structure to be able to focus on the things that I like to do, which for me is to write, to create content, and to relate with people, and to lead. So those are like the three things that I focus on. If I loved sales, I could be doing sales calls, but yeah, so those two stand out the most to me. And then the water is amazing. I don't know if you guys have gotten into that much, but it's incredible.
Yeah, we haven't gotten too much into the water. We're just allowing people to develop that insight on their own when they come into the Freedom Era. Yeah.
Well, it's like a really fun golden nugget that's like cherry on top for how amazing this.
Yeah. But we've all gotten into the high ticket offer, which is part of the water. So yeah. So we have told people that you guys can, have a high ticket offer if you're not, and it is a health and wellness product. If you're not, if you're not sure what you want to be selling yourself.
Even if you know what you're selling yourself, it's just
Has your vision changed now that you've been in the community for a while, has it expanded or has it grown at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think before I didn't really know how to craft a vision. I did when I first started an online business because that was what my coach was taking me through, but it still wasn't like crystal clear what my ideal day would look like. Um, so I think that when I started my online entrepreneurial journey, I started to understand that vision and the impact that I could see myself having with being a part of the online space, because it was like, duh, this is the time to like break into the online space and build an online business. And now with COVID, we have even more confirmation of that. So if you ever have had that inkling, like follow that. It's smart. It's a good industry to be in right now. No, I just lost my train of thought about that.
Visioning.
I know exactly what I was going to say. So I think I started the vision when I started online entrepreneurship because I saw the potential, but then my belief in being able to actually fulfill that vision is what has exponentially increased since being a part of the Freedom Era, 100%. Because it was like, there was the difference between having a vision and knowing that it was possible versus having a vision and knowing that I'm headed straight there.
Do you feel like you got that belief from being more involved in the Freedom Era, or is it just outside sources?
Oh, 100% being involved in the Freedom Era and the trainings that we do and in the assignments that we have to like literally craft out your vision, or like one that I have to do today from a money mastery module in the Freedom Era is to write out what my monthly expenses are in my dream life. Like how much does my dream life actually cost me? And it's things like that. Oh, I have to plug my computer in. It's things like that that make me like realize, oh, okay, there's actual work to this, because you can manifest as a dreamer and not actually see it come to fruition. But when you have people that are leading the way, that have done it themselves, and then tell you what they did, that helps a lot. So 100% the Freedom Era.
Yeah, it's really cool that the Money Master, and we actually did that in our summit. We actually had, that was one of our trainings in our summit, was to have people design their ideal money lifestyle and actually find out how much it would cost. How much would it cost for you to have the dream life that you really wanted?
So yeah, how did that go for you guys? You know, like that's such a powerful practice for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then if you were a fly on the wall to yourself way back before you said yes to this business and the Freedom Era and the opportunity with it, what would you say to yourself about saying yes to it?
Oh gosh. I don't think there was ever a no in my body. There was only like resistance to my old money patterns and my own money scarcity. But and it did take me a while to actually figure out how to like come into the business, so to speak. But there was always like there was always a big yes. I would say, you know, I would tell myself to be a little bit more humble about it. I would say like, you know, come into this business, but like set yourself up so that you can reinvest any profits that you make in the first year. Treat it as a real business. This isn't your like gonna save you, and you're not gonna be one of the, you know, like I had this vision. I was maybe one of those people that came in and was like, I'm going to make 30,000 a month, 80,000 a month, because I saw the people were actually doing that. But that was like, they had been doing the business for almost 2 years. So I had unrealistic expectations. So I almost was like over. So I would maybe humble myself a little bit. And, but I would say this is your soul calling, and like, what are you waiting for? It's not like, invest now and everything else will work out.
Nice. Yeah. I feel like this community attracts people who are so called. And I think because of that, we have this amazing group of people Have you seen anybody stick around that's not called to
No.
this? Yeah, it's pretty funny. Is there anything else that you would want people to know about the Freedom Era or your journey, or anything that, would just inspire them to have us say yes to this?
Yeah, I think I didn't know like what I was missing out on in life until I was a part of this community, and it has changed my life on just like being inside my brain is a better place to be. And one thing, Nancy, you'd asked before about like if I learned everything from the Freedom Era, and what I want to add on with that is that like from the Freedom Era and the books they recommend. So those two things, and like the people that I've met through that, and me, diving in deeper with people that I feel called to. But if I hadn't jumped on this ship, like I would have burnt out in the online space. I 100% would have burnt out, and I probably would have gone for something else. And that's because it's really unsustainable in the way that a lot of people are building their online businesses or their network marketing businesses or whatever that looks like. But being a part of this specific spaceship that we're on, it's so fulfilling that I can't imagine like I would not have grown as much as a person. I would be a completely different person. I would still I would have slipped into old patterns, I think. And I wouldn't have experienced the growth. And a lot of that started with just gratitude. Like the community, the first thing when you come in, they're like, do the magic. And the magic is the 8-day gratitude practice. You guys probably talked about it, I'm not sure. And that book changed my life. And just like seeing how other people were living their lives changed my life. And traveling to Australia twice changed my life. And I've faced more like demons within myself than I expected, but that's also the path to healing. And it's just for people that are craving a community and then craving growth and craving like hope and the creation of like a really beautiful future, and that like do not slip into mainstream media, fear-based, just like downward spiral.
Right.
This is the place to be if that calls you, if that's something that you're like looking for in your life. And yeah, I mean, that's it.
Awesome. All right, cool. Well, thank you for jumping on. I don't have anything else to add. I appreciate your time and jumping on with us today. And yeah, so we're looking forward to everybody who gets to see this and see the replay. And if you have any questions for Coral, I'm sure you can message her on Facebook. And you can always message me if you have any questions more about it. And we hope to see you in the Freedom Era real soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coral.
Bye.
Bye.